Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. John F. Kennedy. Welcome to Progressive Voices of Arizona, a place where people can discuss the issues that affect people all over the nation and look for possible solutions to restore society's humanity. Kick off your shoes, grab yourself a snack and something to drink, and listen in with Scott and Kara, your hosts of Progressive Voices of Arizona.
And welcome, everybody, to another fun, interesting, and exciting show of Progressive Voices of Arizona. I am one of the hosts, Scott, and I'm joined here with my wonderful wife.
Oh, wonderful. That's so sweet.
I'm
Hi,
just
this is
lying.
Kara. Yeah, whatever.
So it's we have a very special guest with us tonight. Everybody, I'm sure, here in Arizona has been watching what's been going on at the legislature. The good, the bad, mostly the bad, and the ugly. We're hoping to be able to change this in the next election cycle. So tonight with us we have the Honorable Representative Ken Clark from Arizona's Legislative District 24. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight, Ken. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us.
Well, this guy who called me honorable, you don't want to see what happened to him. I'm happy to be here, Scott. Kara, I'm happy to be on the show.
Well, we appreciate your time. We know that you're really busy as session is still in progress. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show tonight is because there's this thing that you've been working with called We the People Summit, which is going to be in June.
Yep.
And it seems like to me, from looking at all the packets that I've been sent over from some of the folks, it's going to be something where people, regardless of political affiliation, who want to make Arizona better, it's a good place to start. So can you kind of give us an idea of how it started, where it comes from?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Back in November, December, January, we started seeing groups popping up in numbers that were impressive. I mean, more than impressive, historic. And back then, we had the Women's March where we expected 5,000 people at the Capitol and saw 25,000 people and all these aerial photos and people having a great time. And we saw people getting together with Stronger Together and the Indivisible groups. So I started speaking at various groups. I remember going to a League of Women Voters meeting in, I think, January. Yeah, January. And there were 300 people in this conference facility, and I was amazed because almost every other time I've been to any group associated with election reform, it's 10 people and a stale piece of cake, and that's about all you get. So it was amazing, and it was impressive, and I started realizing, having been working in politics in various levels for many years, I started realizing that we have got to have some system in place to give people the next steps. So we started seeing all these groups doing requests to speak at the Capitol. We had bills coming through various committees that I sat on in which, 200, 300, 400 people signed up on the request to speak system. They were training each other on how to use it. They were learning how to track bills. Many people were still confused by the legislative website, which is not the easiest thing to use. And it was clear, if we don't give folks a next step, they're going to walk away. So January or so, I started talking around to people. We got a small group of people together, I think about February, and a steering committee, and that included PAFCO, Protecting Arizona Family Coalition, Stronger Together, so a person or two representing indivisible groups, and Women's March, and Planned Parenthood. I know I'm forgetting people. Representative Tony Navarrete is in there with me. He's with Promise Arizona, or has been. We've got Luce on board now. Representative Reggie Bolding's on board more recently, and we started working on what this could look like. I back then was thinking, we could get 1,000 people in a room, and that would be pretty amazing. And maybe we'll use Phoenix College or something like that. But as time went on, and as we had more and more meetings, we saw groups meeting all over the state. I realized that there were indeed 60 indivisible group meetings around the state. And I said to myself, that's a lot of people. So
yeah, it is.
We went down to my kind of de facto co-chair, Jennifer DeMargermain, went down as our conference director, went down to Phoenix Convention Center, and we have reserved Phoenix Convention Center. And we believe that it is reasonable that we can expect 3,000 people there. And we, it's funny. Well, let me back up on the 3,000 people and say that seems like a really tall order. But when you figure there are 50 or 60 indivisible groups, Stronger Together has a reach of about 24,000 people between all the folks that follow their newsletters and Facebook posts and stuff like that, and then all the other groups that are out there that we're not even counting. It seems reasonable. I don't think we're overstating it, and ticket sales have been pretty strong already. So we said, let's go for the big show here, and let's create an opportunity for as many people as possible. So then we got six rooms, 6 time slots during the day, so about 36 workshops. It's actually 33 because some are doubled over. But and that's everything. Those workshops are put together so that you can walk out of there with more information and more knowledge than you came in with. We want you to, if you are a, suburban white activist, we want you to have an opportunity to sit down with young immigrant rights activist who has chained him or herself to some, deportation vehicle, and understand and learn from them. We want you to, if you're thinking of running for office, to understand what that really entails. We want you to understand campaign finance law so that when you go to create some kind of group or committee, you're not going to do the wrong thing. We're going to give you panel workshop discussions on training on how to use the legislative website, on how to be a citizen researcher, on how to be a citizen lobbyist, on how to get corporations to listen to you if you want to get some of them to get on your side. We've got some incredible speakers that we're going to announce in the next couple of weeks. Our next meeting is on Monday, and we are going to announce next week the full roster of workshops and breakout sessions. And here's the simple goal. Well, really 2 goals. One is we want people to meet each other so that all these folks who are doing all this great work can build that power, build that strength. And then we also want people to walk out of there with more knowledge than they came in with.
And at this point in time, I think it's a really big point, is having more information than you started with. Because we actually, when we heard about this, we started kicking about the idea of seeing if we could do a workshop for people that may live in really red districts like us that want to still run for office. Because we've got 12 years experience between the two of us of running against, incumbents that are in a district that's so red you can't even see blue in this state. Mm-hmm. And we had talked about, of course, because I think there's a lot of people that might run for office, but they feel that if they're in a district like ours, that it's kind of a waste of time. and we want to show that it's not because of the benefits of us running out here, bringing people out. Because like you were saying about more and more people showing up, our district meeting out here used to be 5 of us, like every month.
Most of which was the actual
All
board.
the officers would get meet for dinner once a month. And now we're seeing 30, 40 people showing up at our meetings. So it's unprecedented out here in this horribly red district to see people saying, we got to do something and
progress.
Coming out. So it's a good thing. And this, I think your guys' idea is spectacular because we can't lose this momentum. We have to continue to build it, and this is going to help do that.
Well, absolutely, Scott. That is one of our topics is running in. We don't. It's not going to be running in a red district because we don't know where people are going to be coming from. It's going to be running in a district where you're outnumbered, and the importance of being able to work in those circumstances. And this is a nonpartisan conference, and realistically, people are going to be left and left or center. Maybe if I've run into some Republicans who have gone to our District 24 Democrats meeting, so I think we're going to have all kinds of folks there.
Right.
We're going to do our best to make sure trolls don't get in, because we think that if we're doing our job and people hear more and more about this, someone's going to try and get in.
Right.
But we'll be ready. But there are a lot of people out there who are in districts like you're talking about who want to do something, who feel discouraged. In fact, there are a lot of people in all districts and not just legislative districts, or they might want to run for school board or some higher office, and they don't even know where to start. And we will have people there who have obviously run for office and can sit them down and talk to them about what it really entails and what you can expect. And I think that's important. We don't want to discourage people, but we want them to understand, for instance, if you've never run for office before, you've never even raised a penny before, you might want to, temper your expectations about what you're going to actually be able to do, but plan for that. You can still run, you can still, do good things, but just understand what is realistic and what's not.
Right. Yeah, because, the 3 sessions that we ran, or the 3 election cycles that we ran for office, we only qualified for clean elections once out of those 3 times. And
we were actually thrilled that on the 3rd time we actually made it. We never thought that we would even come close enough to make it.
That's one of those things that people need to understand. It doesn't always work like you have it planned in your head. It just doesn't.
It usually works the direct opposite.
But that's a good thing to have.
But I love the nonpartisan spin.
Yeah.
I think people really need to be worried or be concentrating more on community and team building in the issues as opposed to what letter is at the end when they vote. That just bothers me.
Yeah. Right, and one of our conversations as well, we're going to do something on civil dialogue, how to have a conversation with somebody you don't agree with. And I think that's really important. I think that we don't, just because you learn how to have a conversation with someone you don't agree with, doesn't mean you are giving up on your values.
Right. Yeah, and I think one of the other things that this might do is it might kind of gather the independents, since they are now the second biggest voting bloc in Arizona, to actually come in and actually get a direct idea of what people are like. Because I think that they're a lot of independents kind of feel left out because they're not part of